respect the Zutu Hill culture. And one of the prominent parts of that culture is the Mayan god Maximon. In many ways, he represents virtues of machismo. He's a hard-drinking, hard-smoking saint, and he can do both good and evil. But the people greatly believe in him, and the cofradia, the religious confraternities founded at the time of the Spanish conquest, maintain the traditions of Maximon. And he comes greatly to prominence during the Holy Week, La Semana Sancta. They perform a religious ceremony in which they wash Maximon's clothes. That is on Monday or Tuesday of the Holy Week. Then, Wednesday, they take Maximon and present him to the alcalde, the mayor. And he spends about 2 or 3 hours, the mayor. Then, he has his own little chapel by the Catholic Church. He becomes Judas Iscariot, and they hang him as a ritual of sacrifice. And he hangs there until Good Friday. The Zutu Hill people believe in Santiago, in the Cathedral of Santiago, there's a hole in front of the sacristy, and the Zutu Hill belief is this is where the gods communicate with the world. And when the statue of Christ in the sepulchre, the glass sepulchre, when he is crucified on Good Friday, the cross is put in that hole. At 3 o'clock, of course, he's taken down, and then it takes his bearers. They carry an anda or platform with Christ in the sepulchre. It takes them about 2 or 3 hours to reach the back of the church. At that time, the tenil, or the handler, the carrier of Maximon, goes and puts Maximon on his shoulders, and he presents him to the dead Christ. And the Mayan belief is that life comes from death. So in many ways, Maximon, I won't say he raises the dead Christ, but he facilitates the rising of the Christ. And of course, this is in the springtime, and so it's also planting time, so it's also the idea of life and death, the seed going in the ground and being covered up and sprouting. So it's also the whole cycle, the Mayan cycle of life and death, the whole continuous circle of life and death. As I say, Maximon is a person for good and evil. The reason the Maximon is so short here is because the people believe that while many of the warriors were off fighting a war, that Maximon took a human form and seduced many of the wives. So therefore, to keep him from doing harm, they cut off his legs so he has very short legs. But he does wear the traditional trousers, the beautiful embroidered trousers of the Zutu Hill people. To many, many indigenous people, particularly the indigenous people of North and South America, tobacco always had a sacramental or sacred meaning. And so we find Maximon with the cigar or cigarettes. And this is a very common offering that people will come and they'll offer cigarettes, they'll offer money, and they'll offer liquor, usually aguardiente, quetzalteca by name, and it's a sugarcane type liquor. And his handlers, the cofradia, will also drink it. They actually have a tube inside of Maximon, and they'll pour the liquor inside, and then it'll be recycled, and they themselves will drink it.
There was sort of a fight. Maximon kind of won, or the people who believe in Maximon kind of won the right to have his house right there next to his church, his little blue casita. And I think that the church acknowledging that, you know, people do believe in Maximon, like he exists, I think that was a really big sort of win for a lot of the indigenous people and beliefs here.
Jesús. Santa Madre de Dios, ruega por nosotros los pecadores, ahora y la hora de nuestra muerte. Amén. Gloria al Padre, y al Hijo y al Espíritu Santo, como era en siempre, por los siempre, de los siglos de los siglos. Amén. Ave María Purísima, pecado concebidos. En el nombre del Padre, del Hijo y del Espíritu Santo. Amén. Santos que chamran a luz, santos que chamran dom pés, santos que chamran wala cha. Eva mi ali virit honap kawat spam kawata televes. Asanin bir able kuatro vir. Biha me am shanat sa tihon ko inika hunak ikol. Kuwes sa tihon ko in. Ako sinata kara simbita. Shatu kara shapah kara. Matios na pagkawata. Six, the level of